faded, streaky, water-stained grey. On the far left of the structure, the car park dipped and a cluster of peppermint trees circled the crumbling edges of the property. Silver Island cheese. Paige read the cursive black writing above the building's main door. It's sort of creepy. It's a cheese factory. I don't think there's anything less creepy, Hal said with a chuckle, and turned the car in a slow arc to park under the shade of the trees. Come on, we can sit on the loading bay. For a moment Paige didn't move. She scanned the front of the building for signs of life. Something about the hulking structure seemed out of place in the isolated setting. She pinched her lower lip between her thumb and index finger. It's not like we're planning on breaking into the place. Hal sensed her trepidation. You can stretch your legs and take a breather. I'll grab us something to eat out of the esky. We'll have a picnic. He looked around. I don't see any chainsaw-wielding maniacs, so I think we'll be okay. Paige rolled her eyes skyward. Okay, but if I get chopped up, I'm blaming you, she said, suppressing a smile. Hal grabbed a picnic rug and the cooler from the rear of the vehicle and walked over to the loading dock. He spread the rug out near the edge and pulled a can of Coke out of the esky. Just watching him drink made Paige need to pee. She rubbed the small of her back and turned away. The bush on the far side of the car would do the trick, but the thought of squatting in the thick scrub while trying to balance her swollen belly was unappealing to say the least. Then there was the tiny matter of snakes. She shuddered and turned back to Hal. Do you want a drink? He asked, holding up a bottle of water. Paige's shoulders slumped. I need to pee, but I'm worried about snakes in the bush. Hal put his Coke down and walked back towards her. Just do it around the other side of the car. There's no one around. Why go in the bush? Paige turned and looked at the road. They hadn't seen another car for at least 20 minutes. The baby gave a sudden kick, and the pressure on her bladder intensified. She sighed. Okay, why not? She took care positioning herself near the dip that led to the peppermint trees, so the urine would flow down and away from her feet. The relief felt almost erotic in its intensity. Paige let out a long breath and looked up. A magpie sat in the overhanging branch, its head cocked to one side. It fixed a black, beady eye on her. If the magpie decided to swoop at her, Paige would likely tumble backwards and land in her own pee. She grimaced and tried to force her bladder to empty, but it had been a long car ride, and judging by the steady stream that chugged towards the peppermint trees, she wasn't slowing down any time soon. She cursed under her breath and clutched her knees. What did you say? Nothing. Paige winced at the shrillness of her voice and glanced back up at the magpie. It regarded her with blank intensity and rubbed its beak on the edge of the branch. Getting it nice and sharp, Paige thought grimly, and watched the creature hop a little farther down the branch. She felt her stream start to dwindle and smiled. A second later, she pulled up her pants, gave the bird a smug look over her shoulder, and walked back around the car. Feeling better? You wouldn't believe... Look out! Hal's smile dropped and his mouth opened. He stepped towards her, arms up. Paige started to ask what he meant when something grazed the right side of her head. There was no pain, just a jolt. In her periphery she saw a blur of black moving so quickly she could have imagined it. Stumbling forward, Paige almost lost her footing, but Hal reached her in time. I knew that thing was going to swoop at me. Are you okay? He held her left elbow to steady her. Yes, I'm fine, Paige laughed. Lucky I've got you to catch me. She looked up into his face and the smile died on her lips. He'd drained of colour and his lips were tight. Pulling her closer, he encircled her in his arms. She leaned her head against his chest and listened to his heartbeat. It sounded fast. Had her near fall startled him so badly? She laced her arms around his back and felt his muscles warm and hard beneath his t-shirt. Hal, a little over 6 foot with a large muscular frame, had just left the army when Paige met him. He'd been working as a plumber, a trade learned in the armed forces. Strong, gentle, and light-hearted, but never glib. He made Paige feel safe. I'm sorry if I scared you. Paige pulled back from the hug, searching Hal's eyes. He looked away. She could see a redness creep up his neck. She frowned. Hal, is something wrong? He kissed her on the top of the head.